I think Father is on the way. Just hold on a bit. Just before Father comes in, yeah, Father, please, Father.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening, Father.
Everyone, welcome back to this evening. I just want to clarify a few things. This, it is advertised as a four-parter. Four-parter meaning not the 4 days. Let me clarify. We have 2 days and 2 days. 1 day, it covers 2 parts. So yesterday, Raymond Jagan covered 2 parts. Today, Chris Kushi will cover the other 2. So that means we finish off 1 cycle. Next week, we will start with a second cycle. Correct, Chris?
Correct, yeah.
So we'll start with a second cycle. So that one is for new people to come in. Just to let you all know, but I hope you all have been having a good time. Have you been enjoying yourselves? Can I just ask you all?
Yes, Father.
Yes, Father.
Okay, good.
Thank you
good.
so much.
I hope you all, because I hope it's beneficial to you and in the ministry in which you carry out your work. This is very important for all of you. And it's going to change the way we are church and the way we treat others, and also in the way in which even our church also may have to change. So it's important. For example, even confessionals. Even the confessionals in my church, Church of Our Lady of Lourdes, we have had to change the confessionals so that it cannot be just the 2 of us. There must be access and doors must be open so that people can see that Father is listening to confessions, because people must be able to see. So this one, even in the structure of our church also, we become more transparent this way. So thank you, all of you, for joining us. Thank you, and I wish all of you joy. And I know Chris is a very, very dynamic and very innovative speaker, and he will inspire you all. Yeah. So without further ado, I now have to go back to the Mandarin so that I can help them too. So you're starting the Mandarin course today. So Jesus loves you, Mother Mary loves you too. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you, Father Greg.
Over to you, Chris.
Thank you, Father Greg.
Take care.
Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, dear Reverend Fathers, dear religious sisters, brothers and sisters in Christ, my name is Christopher Kushi, and today's 2-hour discourse is on Malaysian legislation in child protection. So this ADKL safeguarding presentation discourse will give you an awareness of the child legislations currently in Malaysia. We all know about physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse. So what I'm going to do is to focus you on the legal aspects concerning the law in this part. So my discourse here is because you are the first responders for the church. You all are the eyes and ears of the church to protect children. So my discourse is to you, it's not for you. What's the difference? For you means if there's a home, a nursing home, 50 children, and there are 15 staff. So I'll give a discourse for them. They need to know the do's, the don'ts. But you all are the first responders. So this course is to you to create awareness. So you'll be emboldened by the knowledge that I hope I can pass on to you all concerning the legal aspects of the law. And also when I talk female, male, the law is gender neutral. When I talk, it's always either male, female or female, male. Is gender neutral. So because sometimes always we talk about cases, it's against a woman, but it can happen other way, against a man, against a male. So in Malaysia, the laws concerning child legislation is Child Act 2001, 21 years ago. Child Amendment Act, we had a big amendment, 70% of the Child Act was amended. They had in more clauses. We came up with a Child Amendment Act 2016. Further in, they had a specific act for sexual offenses against children. Formerly, the Child Act, they had a 3-paragraph on sexual offenses against children. Now they came up with an own act, the whole act, more offenses, more specific, more focused on sexual offenses against children. Then Age of Majority Act and Penal Code. Penal Code is the old code where it began, where we started our country, the independence. We had this Penal Code from England, from India. So that is where is a basic, where we get all the criminal offenses. So later it is spread out, open up new acts following that. Okay, since this is a Catholic forum, I just want to start off with some verses from the Bible, Holy Bible, on child protection. So we have Matthew chapter 19, verse 6-14. Let the little children come to me and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these. Psalms 1-7, verse 3. Children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward from him. So in the child protection manual of Johor have their own child protection manual, KL, and Diocese of Penang, Archbishop Julian and Bishop Bernard, they choose this as their theme. Children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward from him. So Bishop Sebastian, when he went to Rome for the Global Summit, Safeguarding of Minors, he chose this verse from Matthew 18, verse 6. If anyone causes one of these little ones, those who believe in him, to stumble, it will be better for them to have a large millstone hung around their neck and to be drowned in the depths of the sea. So they chose the various themes of the verse. Now again, lately, Pope Francis is very ardent propagator of child protection. So he said recently in May 21, the scourge of child abuse, pedophilia, child pornography. See, when talk about pedophilia, is also connected with child pornography. He described them as psychological murder, such strong words. So he takes a very serious view in protecting children in the church. So here in Rome, he had a function with the NGOs who are protecting children who have been abused. So he gave this, he talked about them, and then he gave this words, came out in the Vatican News. Continue your work without hesitation, paying particular attention to the addiction aspect in order to form a firm conscience in people to eradicate a culture of abuse and exploitation. He said, even today, correct, even today, we know that the first reaction of many families is to cover up everything. So this is a first reaction, it happens even now. I experienced it myself. When we talk about child abuse, when it comes to us, our first reaction is to protect the adult, protect the organization. I can vouch for that. The child has no identity, invisible. We always say, oh, how am I going to protect this person? How am I going to protect this organization? So we have to remove that, what you call thoughts in our mind. It's always the child, the best interest of the child, as I explained further. Okay, now, United Nations, we had this Convention on the Rights of Child in 1990, formulated in 1990, where 190 countries came to the United Nations and formed this convention of 55 clauses. So when a convention is formed and people sign onto this convention, you must come back to your home country and formulate laws following the clauses in that convention which you have agreed to. So Malaysia ratified the UNCI in 1995, Holy See 1990. So in 1995, when we ratified the convention, we came back, it took us 6 years to formulate law. So in 2001, the Child Act came into play, came into being, enacted. So it took 6 years for the AG chambers, with all the stakeholders to formulate that law, which is our main law in protecting children. So in this convention, there are 55 clauses. The main clause which encompasses the meaning of that convention is in Article 3.1. In all actions concerning children, whether undertaken by public or private social welfare institutions, courts of law, administrative authorities, or legislative bodies, the best interests of the child shall be the primary consideration. So whenever you have a child abuse case, you always have this principle in your mind, the best interest of the child. And this is quite common now in our judiciary, in our police. When a judge gives a decision on a child abuse case, he always says, in the best interest of the child, you will be sentenced to so and so years. In the best interest of the child, this child shall be placed in the guardianship of. It's always they follow this term, the best interest of the child. So we too have to keep this in mind, this term. Whenever you have a child protection, always think, what is the best interest of the child before we go further. Okay, now the definition of child. What is a child? How do you define a child? This I think many of you all know. So definition of child means a person who is below 18 years. When a child reaches the age of 18, the 18th birthday, no more a child. Formerly it was 21. When we reach 21, we get a key. In the birthday cake, the key. Now it's 18. So in Europe, they call it minor. Why minor? Because our age of majority, you become a major when you reach 18 years of age. You become a major. So in Europe, in the Vatican, they always say minor, major. But we still use the word child. So when you say, when the person reach age of majority, 18, what can he do? Now he can vote. He can make his own passport. He can sign contract. The child can sign. Now a child can sign a contract, can be sued, and he can sue. So now we don't use the word adult. We don't use the word young offender. We don't use the word juvenile. Child, major. He reached the age of majority. So easy. Anybody below 18, consider a child. Even though he may be a big size, very matured, as long as you are below 18 and an offense is done against you, you will fall under the Child Act or sexual offenses against children. Anybody who is below 18, an offense is committed against them. So this is the definition of a child. Before I go further, in the course of this talk, I'll be explaining many things of the judiciary, of the police, of the what you call foreign affairs, AG chambers, because I've been working in all these places. So whatever I say is my personal experience. I started with the police, then went to the judiciary, then went to the AG chambers, Federal Council, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and now with the law degree, I'm what you call advocate solicitor, High Court of Malaya. So all this through my experiences. Okay, the aim of this course is the objective, as you are the first respondents, eyes and ears judge, to give you the definition of what is physical injury, the legal definition, physical injury, what is emotional injury, what is sexual abuse of child, what is neglect. Yesterday, I think Raymond would have brought up all these matters. So now I'll go into the legal definition of all these definitions, of what are the consequences or how you define them. Later, I'll show you the act. And then just to explain, physical, emotional, sexual is the commission of an act. Physical, emotional, or sexual abuse of a child is a commission of an act. Neglect is the omission of an act. If you fail, you neglect to take care of a child, and a child is abused, physically abused, emotionally abused, sexually abused, you can be charged for neglect. The parent, the guardian, the person in charge can be charged for neglect. Because of your neglect, an offense against the child has been committed. Then third part, you need to know, when are you mandated by law to report? And when we, after giving this talk, when we say, when are you obligated ethically, morally to report? Because certain times the law doesn't say you have to report, have to inform the authorities. But after this talk, we hope that at least you'll come and report to the PSO or to the welfare or the other authorities. So this is the objective of my 2-hour discourse today. Give you the explanation, as you all are the first responders of the church. This slide look at the statistics. I still can't get until 2020. Usually in Parliament, Kasturi Patu will always ask the Ministry of Women and Child, what is the latest statistic? But lately they haven't been given. So I only got it until April 2021. So basically we have physical abuse, lalaki perempuan, then sexual abuse, emotional abuse. People even report, say 2061, 71 in 2020. Then neglect is also an offense. This is a big number because you neglect and a child has caused to be physically abused or certain kinds of abuse because of the neglect. So when you say neglect, means some other person, a guardian, a parent has been charged. Dibuang, that means this is baby abandonment, where they live at certain places. So this also abuse. Line, other types of abuses. And the total usually comes around 6,000 a year. So 6,000 is those reported to the, in this graph, to the Jabatan Kebajikan Welfare Department. Those reported to police, I'm not sure. So UN says 6, you must times by 7 to give the proper figure. So around 40,000 a year, the various kinds of sexual abuses against child. Okay, before we go further, I just want to give you 3 categories, definitions of how is a person categorized when he abuses. Now, a situational offender. This is the person, many of us are a situational offender, can be a situational offender because we are tempted. What is a situational offender? It's a person who commits crimes only when an environment which permits or encourages those acts. Not given to criminal behavior under normal circumstances, is unlikely to repeat the offense. So situational offender is when we are tempted. Sometimes we get too close. We are taking care of a person, a child. We get too close, then suddenly we are tempted. So we didn't mean to do it. We don't want to do it, but because of the temptation, because of that relationship, it develops. So this is called a situational offender, and usually it happens only once, and once somebody else tells him, "Hey, you better not do it. You better get it. Stop it." He will stop it. But actually, he doesn't have an intention, but because of the situation, he goes into that line of offending. So we can stop it. If you see it, inform him, he'll stop it. Now, a predator, this is a dangerous person, but not to a child, to the other sex. What is he? Let me define. Is a person seen as trying to obtain sexual gratification with another person in a predatory manner, as though he or she hunts for their sexual partner. He is a person, is a hunter. He wants sex. Once he gets the girl satisfied, he goes for the next person. Or the other way around, a girl also can be a hunter. So this is a predator, but usually he doesn't aim for children. He just wants sex. 20, 30, 40, I mean, it's up to him. So he goes hunting, gets a girl, and once he gets it, he leaves. So when I was in police, certain ladies will come to the palai to make a report on rape. So when you say rape, okay, do you recognize the fellow? Can you identify who raped you? He said, no, I know him, my boyfriend, ex-boyfriend. See, ex-boyfriend coming and tell me rape, predator. angry. She used me, but we don't care. Your relationship is not of concern. The act, what matters to us, investigating officer, is the act. Against her will, very easy. You use force against her will. With her consent, that is the tricky one, with her consent. Now, when with her consent, he will say, yeah, she didn't challenge me. She didn't say no. She followed me. She followed me. She never said no. She followed me. You know, she what you call, we went to the room together. That is not the issue. Because consent is the presence of the, is the presence of a yes, is not the absence of a no. I'll cut him down by saying, did she say yes? Then there'll be a stun. You always keep saying no. She never said no. Never said no. When I say, did she say yes? They're stunned. So then, of course, we do the necessary investigation. For us, we see whether there's any, what we call, proof, any evidence, then we charge. We don't care, you know the boy, you know the person, we only see on the act. And also, if there is consent, yes, there's another, our laws, our rape laws is very well developed. Consent, what was there? Imbalance of authority. A yes because of an imbalance of authority. A general with a corporal. A professor with a student. There's an imbalance. So her yes can be a no if you see that imbalance. So the law in rape is very well developed. Okay, now we'll go on the pedophile. This is the person who we have to be very careful because his aim is to get a child. He wants sex with a child. So what is the definition? This is a psychotic disorder in which an adult or older adolescents experience exclusive attraction. He doesn't want to go those mature children. Exclusive attraction for young children. Primary or exclusive sexual to pre-pubescent children below 13 years of age. Psychotic disorder. Pedophiles, they even can rape babies, 5 months, 10 months, 1 year. When you tell a person, hey, that person raped a 5-month-old baby, the first word that come out, hey, gila. Then I have to say, yeah, dia memang gila. Dia memang gila, psychotic disorder. When I was in Kuching, I was giving a talk in 2016 or 17. On priest, you're sitting in front row, he said, hey, Christopher, I can ask you a question. If he has a mental disorder, why is the law so harsh on this person? We cannot blame him. Mentally, his mind is sick. So why is the law so harsh? Send 20 years in jail. That's because the crime is so heinous. The law doesn't consider his mental handicap, his mental problem, his mental disorder. You attack a child, you have the law book thrown at you. That's basically what they are saying. So a pedophile is a person we have to be aware of, because he will follow everything. His aim is to get the child. So a pedophile, how do you recognize a pedophile? There's only one way we can see. He loves child pornography. That's why earlier on the Pope was talking. He said child abuse, pedophilia, child pornography. It all comes together. Pedophilia with child pornography. So anybody who loves to see child, when I say child, I don't mean 16, 17, young children, 10 years, 7 years, 5 years, they love to see child pornography. If anybody would say he likes to see child pornography, make sure he gets help and do not allow him to work with children. So that is how, one of the ways to recognize a pedophile. So this has been done by research, shown by research. So according to the National District Attorney Association of America, in light of the documented link between individuals who view child pornography and individuals who actually molest children, each child pornography case should be viewed as a red flag, as I said, or the possibility of actual child molestation. So if you come and tell me this person, I saw in his laptop or in his handphone, he was watching child pornography. Come and tell me, sack. Zero tolerance, sack. So even in UK, Republic, many pedophiles acknowledge that exposure to child abuse images fuels their sexual fantasies and plays an important part in leading them to commit hands-on sexual offenses against children. So this is their weak points, and which we should be, as eyes and ears of church, watch out for anybody who is interested in child pornography or has child pornography in his possession. Lately, in last year, 2021 May, there was a big bust of a child pornography syndicate. Because they're all pedophiles, but they are not in the normal internet world. They are in the dark web. So this site was established by some Germans, had 400,000 registered members in the dark web, where they are exchanging child pornography. So all these are 100% pedophiles. They are exchanging their videos of their sexual acts with children, or they are selling. So all this one was all against with pedophile boys. So they was called Boys Town. So the German police, through the help of Interpol, broke this, squash this, what they call pornography, the pedophile website, where pedophile syndicate, and 400,000 names were found. They arrested the 4 persons. So obviously, the Pastoral was one of the world's biggest child pornography darknet platforms in the dark web, and has been active at least since 2019. Pedophiles use it to exchange, watch pornography of children and toddlers, and most of them boys from all over. So they sell them, they exchange them, they discuss how to get what type they want. So this was in the dark web. This child porn syndicate was busted by Interpol and German police. So because with that bust, Interpol decided in June 2021 to set up base in Southeast Asia. Why? We can know, we can take a hint. 400,000, many of their victims, Southeast Asia. So they had to come to Southeast Asia to break that bond, that link, where people in Europe watch child pornography of children taken in Cambodia, Philippines, Thailand, and I'm not sure, maybe Malaysia, Singapore, I'm not sure. Because we don't know, but we know Cambodia is 100%. Philippines also quite high. So they set up this Pandora project to try to stop this child pornography syndicates from using this area to sell their illegal activities. So when we see that, see Indonesia, Thailand, Philippines, Vietnam is another place, but Cambodia. So now we know Interpol is in our region with the help of their experts trying to stop this dark web exploitation of children. And because of that, recently in Sarawak, I'm sure you all read about it, Aladdin Lanim, he was caught. Not caught by Malaysian police, by Australian informers. And he had in his possession 1,000 videos of child pornography. So we take an example, 1,000 videos. Let's say one child, 4 videos. I'm taking a very general view. At least 250 children, babe child, he abused them. Because he takes these pictures, sells them, exchange them. So luckily, what do you call? But of course, the Bandar Kuching MP was very angry. Said, how one of the world's most wanted pedophiles were able to sexually abuse for over a decade, 10 years, without being detected by Royal Malaysian Police. So as I said, Interpol has to come in, then with Australia, with The Hague, Holland, they will help to, because all dark web very hard to find out who is the person. They have to do their forensic internet investigation to come to catch who is the person behind that name, behind that website name. So it's not easy, but now Malaysia is coming up. Later I'll show you. Bukit Aman has set up this internet pornography website investigation unit. Later I'll tell you. Okay, now go back to the church. So as I said, the Pope is very ardent supporter of preventing child abuse. And as you know, in February 21, he had this global summit in Rome, protection minors in church, where all the religious heads, bishops, cardinals came to Rome to discuss, to make policies. So our bishops' conference was represented by Bishop Sebastian. He went there and he presented the Southeast Asian view of the offenses of these child protection policies here. So from there, as you know, in the Vatican, they have this Pontifical Commission for the Protection of Minors. So they look for the Universal Church. So, Cardinal Sean O'Malley is in charge with Father Hans Horner, a very well-known theologian, and every continent has their representative from Asia, from the Philippines, from India, from Africa. So they set up policies, guidelines for the whole church. So now in every diocese, the Pope by decree has said by May 31st, 2020, every diocese must have a child protection manual. And they must roll out this child protection to their members, to the church, and they must have this professional standard office, a committee to handle child protection complaints. So you go to any diocese in the world, you ask, do you have a child protection manual? They have, because by decree, by May 31st, 2020, 2 years ago already, all dioceses in the world must have. So Johor has, this is their manual, child protection manual, Malacca Johor Diocese. Colombo, children are heritage from Lord, offspring and reward him, as I said, the team. So as I said, they all have a committee. Kuching has, all are preparing, have prepared. And once you are prepared, this is your manual. How your policies, how your reporting, how your mechanism to investigate is in there. You must have that. Penang, keeping and restoring communion. So Penang is the only diocese in our region, in the Malaysia, Singapore, Brunei, Singapore diocese, that has been promulgated, that the Vatican Congregation for the Divine Faith has vetted it and said, go ahead. So Bishop Sebastian has promulgated this policy in February 2019. That's so far the only diocese, because the other dioceses have sent it to Rome to be vetted by the CDF, haven't come back because of the pandemic, so it delayed. So every diocese in the world, you go to Mumbai, go to Kenya, they must have this child protection, and you must roll out. So KL has rolled out by this Zoom. Penang also has rolled out by Zoom. And so I'm sure the other dioceses also will be going ahead. Okay, now I come to the Child Act. So Child Act 2001. Now we go on the Act itself, on the law. So as I said, this is the Act formulated from the Convention for the Rights of Children. We signed it in 1995. 6 years later, we came up with this Act. What is in this Act? Okay, interpretation, National Council for Children, appointment of protectors. This is a very important person in this Act, where many of us don't know. Whenever you have a child abuse case, report police. Come, we'll go report police. Don't report to the police, report to the protector in the social welfare department. He is the person given the powers to handle, to protect children. His appointment is of a protector. After I tell you what is his powers. So he is a protector to protect children. And of course, now you know courts of children, there's a special courts for children where the children can give evidence through video conferencing, videos, internet. So there's all, you know, they don't have to see the perpetrator. So it's all for the best interest of the child. Children in need of care and protection, who must give the care and protection. Then later all this is common. Then children in care of fit and proper person. If the parents, guardians cannot take care of the child, the protector will get a court order and put the child to a fit and proper person, maybe the grandmother, the uncle, or another person, a foster family. Then what is how the investigation, arrest, seizure, all these are in the Child Act. Okay, this is the powers of the direct protector, as I said. I see the post, by origin of his post, he is automatic a protector, the Director General, the State Director General, but rest are appointed gazetted officers as protectors in the social welfare department. So Malaysia, we have around 400 protectors, around 600 assistant protectors. So 1,000 protectors in the whole Malaysia to protect children. So you go to any social welfare department, there will be at least one protector or assistant protector. What is his power? See his powers? Powers of a magistrate in taking evidence. He can take a child into temporary custody. Nobody can take another person's child into custody. If a mother brings a child to me, hey, say, oh, you are a PSO. Oh, I'm having a problem. My child, I think my husband is abusing a child, but I can't think of anything what to do. I just need time to rest. Can you take care of my child? Can I put your child in your place? Because I know you are a PSO. I say, ma'am, sorry. If I take your child, I will be charged for abduction. I have no right to take another person's child. What I must do, take the child, go to the balai. If I go to the balai, he will call the protector because he also cannot keep hold of the child. He must call the protector. So he has the only power to take a child into temporary custody. He is like a parent. The law has given him the powers of a parent. See, police officer take child into temporary custody shall notify or takut to keep the child. Must notify immediately the protector datang ambil anak ini. See, the protector can direct in writing, take the child to hospital. Nobody else, only the parents. You go to hospital, do anything to the child, they say, tolong ibu bapa kena sign. Protector, he can sign on behalf. He can authorize hospitalization, medical treatment. In total, he is the parent. He has the power of a parent. So no need to bring a child to the balai. Bring a child to the protector, social welfare. But of course, if a child is being sexually abused, then bring to the balai. Why? Because balai going to investigate. The policeman will be investigating. He needs the crime scene. He needs to take. They are trained to take all the evidences, to send it for DNA testing. So if other than that, physical or emotional, I advise bring to the protector. He can direct to the hospital or go to the hospital. They will call the protector to the hospital. And again, these persons, a medical officer, practitioner, member of family, explain child care, mandatory shall immediately report any cases of physical, emotional, sexual to the protector. So they don't report to the balai, police. The law say you come across any physical, emotional, or sexual abuse, report to the protector. See, so this person you must mind. So in Malay it's called pelindung. So you go to the social welfare, I nak cakap dengan pelindung. I nak bagi maklumat kepada pelindung. Ini maklumat berkenaan dengan penderaan anak-anak bayi-bayi. So very important, this person. So don't always think of going to report to the balai. Again, because of the protector, he has all the powers, but many NGOs were saying, but the protector is not, tidak menonjolkan. He never show himself. Whenever anything happens on child, is the police giving a statement. The protector quiet. Whereas he is the one who should give the statement, say, we are taking care of the child has been protected, the child is sent to this place, the child will be in full treatment, quiet. So the NGOs and the stakeholders said, we need another person, a person who the whole country can be the voice of the children. So they came up with this. They wanted a children's commissioner by a body by itself, but the government said no need a body by itself, come under Suhakam. So they appointed Puan Dato' Noor Azizah binti Muhammad as the country's first children's commissioner. So her job is to bring attention to all issues concerning children and always bring the first point is best interest of the child. So you must make sure non-discrimination, devotion to the best interest of the child, right to life, survival. This is the main theme of this commissioner, Office of the Children's Commissioner. So she came out, anything coming with child, she gives a press statement to say when the Ain case, when the child was considered harassed by the teacher of a rape joke, she told, bring book who sexually harassed female students. She explained, she came out in the press statement. Don't, you are supposed to teach. You cannot be using foul language, body shaming children, or toxic culture of teachers covering up for another when a complaint arises. So she gave this media statement. Again, when a child was handcuffed, you cannot handcuff a child. You cannot put a child in the lockup, adult lockup. They must be given bail. They must be sent to a foster home. In Miri, I think there was a child caught for gambling in a gambling syndicate, was put in the lockup, military police lockup. At night, the neighboring adult, the other convict in that lockup, he knows where the keys are when raped. It happened, I think, 2 years back. So we are very careful. So again, she said, don't handcuff children and keep them in adult lockups. Again, now this case is ongoing, the Bella case. Here I'm showing you the injuries, right, where it's coded. But in the what you must in social media, always with the face. That is against the law. Under the Child Act, photos and videos that show the identity of child is illegal. So again, she said, don't show pictures of children in the internet, of abused children. So she comes out with statements from time to time, and lately of this court's decision of the custody battle between the mother with the authorities. She said, abide by court's decision in sending back the children to the mother. We follow the law of the land. This is what Raymond yesterday was saying about protection informer. So when you give information, you are protected. 116. So yesterday, Raymond told you this is a very important section that you'll be protected. I'll go deeper into it. You see, if you give information that a child needs protection, you cannot incur any liability or defamation. They cannot sue you. They cannot come after you because dengan suci hati, in good faith, you gave the information because the best interest of the child. So no, they cannot come back and want to take action against you. And also, if you are what you call a professional, counselor, psychiatrist, listening to the persons giving this counseling session, and he informs you that he's been doing this activity against children by their principles, by their board, by their ethics, they cannot revolt by client patient, but the law allows them to break that code, the code of confidentiality. Client patient, doctor patient, you can break it because the best interest of the child must be protected. You want to protect the child. He has just told you, I'm in what you call molesting my neighbor. I cannot help it. I see the child, I cannot help it. I'm in molesting. He can breach his confidentiality and inform the authorities. They cannot disbar him. Or you broke our confidentiality rule, disbar you being a counselor, disbar you from being a psychiatrist. So here in the church, there's one category in Europe. They're saying, what about priests? The sacrament of confession. So the Vatican says sacrament of confession is divine. But priests have their own ways. You must tell the person to you remorse, you must serah diri, you must stop it. So there are ways. I Google, there's one priest in Florida, he said, the person came to him and said he's been molesting this child. So he told him to serah diri, give himself up to the authorities, stop it. He didn't do it, he saw. So indirectly, he managed to talk to the police officer, never mentioned name, but gave him a hint, according to the Google, that possibly you do this, do that. At the end, that person was apprehended. So they have their ways, the priests have their ways in how to handle this. We leave it to the Holy See to handle it. Again, a witness you see, when you give an information to the authority, to a police officer or to the welfare, you don't have to make a report. You are giving an information only. You say, that house, I always hear children crying at night, non-stop. You gave information. The police go there, or the protector goes there, he confirms, yes, this child is being abused. You don't have to make a report. He witnessed that crime, he will make the first information report. You just gave information. You are not a party to this crime. You just gave information, but he confirmed that information. So he will make, they call first information report. So the person who makes the first information report, he must go to court. Take sumpah, Ya, pada sekian-sekian hari berdasarkan kepada maklumat based on information IP rumah itu, I dapati memang ada penderaan kepada kanak ini. So the counsel ask, defense counsel ask, berdasarkan maklumat, siapa yang bagi maklumat? Who gave you the information? The court and everybody knows. The court, the judge will say, counsel, next question. Everybody knows the law. You cannot reveal your source. Because the defense counsel will try lah, but judges usually will know. Counsel, next question. Because a witness in a similar shall not be obliged or permitted to disclose the name and address of an informer or substance of the information received, which might lead to his discovery. So they have a duty to protect the informer's name. That is their duty. 116, I think Raymond has said to you. So you're protected. Okay, so this is the common way of informing the authorities. 15999. You can call them or you can WhatsApp them. Easy. So as you say, saya tak mau nama saya digunakan what you call, dibagi tahu kepada siapa lah. Saya bagi maklumat ini, I'm giving this information confidentially because I want to protect myself. Yes, the law allows you to do that. So they will take the information and they will process it accordingly. So open 24 hours, 24/7. You can even WhatsApp using messages. So they will know who sent them the message. So this number is very important. So just for the sake of knowing, last year, June, 1 month, they received 11,000 calls. But not all on child abuse. Many other things because during the MCO, child abuse, 463, 8, they wanted aid or counseling. So this 1599 is being well used. So that's why the Cabaran Kebajikan Masyarakat, they are quite overwhelmed. So many calls are coming in every time, and all on many other issues. And this is a normal power investigation. Who can investigate? As I said, protector, very strong, or police officer. But usually sexual offenses, the police officer. Because why? He has to arrest immediately the perpetrator. So who has the power to arrest? Police. So arrest, if you say something that the neighbor has done, or anybody has done, and the police go to the house, if the fellow trying to be a bright spark, say, mana warrant? You diam, buka pintu. Because no need warrant. They have the power to arrest immediately. The power. Because best interest of the child, again. Even attempted to commit, employed or aided, may arrest without a warrant whom he has reason to believe. Reason to believe. He hasn't seen any offense. Just reason to believe. I can go to the house, mari ikut saya. Okay, now we go on the aspects of the injury. Now, physical injury. Okay, before, because now it's 9 o'clock, usually we take a break. We'll take a 5-minute break. We'll come back at 9:06. We need to rest. Then we start on the definition of the various physical injury, emotional injury, and sexual abuse. So I'll see you again in 9:06. Take a break. Thank you. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Okay, now we'll go on to the definition of physical abuse according to law. So, section 17(2) states, for the purpose of this part, a child is physically abused if there's substantial and observable injury to any part of the child's body as a result of a non-accidental application of force or agent, non-accidental. And this is evidence, among other things. This is very common. We can, as a layperson, we can know a laceration, a contusion, abrasion. We can see an observable injury, substantial. Dislocation, a sprain, hemorrhaging, burn, a score, loss of attention or unconsciousness or psychological functioning of any part of the body, loss of hair or teeth, because people punch, you lost a hair, or people grab the hair, cut it, or use force to do anything to the part of the body, physical injury. So this is quite, we as laypersons, we can identify, but it must be substantial and observable injury. Okay, when this injury happens, the law now states who is mandated to report. When you see it, who is mandated to report by law? Okay, so section 27 says a duty of medical officer, to, the word is immediately. So a medical officer, a parent bring a child, a father brings a child to the hospital, then he tells the doctor the child hit the head, there's a cut here, hit the head while walking, slip and fall. The doctor checks, in his mind, he knows it's not a fall, he has been hit by a stick or a blunt object. He knows. What immediately he must immediately, the law says immediately inform a protector. So usually what the doctor say, okay, kita kena periksa dia lebih, we have to do further checks. He has to be either warded or put in a room where the nurse will do further checks. So they say, Bapa boleh duduk luar, you can sit outside, we'll do the checking. Usually that's what the doctors do. When he goes out, he immediately call the protector. Protector will come. The protector has the powers. His powers, okay, later he will say, it's correct, I'm taking custody of the child now. The father said, no, this is my child. The protector has the power to take custody. As you learned earlier, read earlier. The law gives him the power. So a medical officer by law must immediately inform a protector once he knows as a physical, he sees physical injury. Who else? Duty of family members to inform a protector. Immediately again, if the uncle sees his niece injured and he feels that it is physically injured by somebody in the family, he must inform the protector by law. Child care provider. You paying the money to a child care provider to take care of your child, and the child sees this child is being abused by person or person unknown, must again call the protector. Usually they call the police. I know this person, or the doctor, he knows to call the protector, but all this will call the police. So police, usually they will inform the protector. As I said, take custody of child, only he has the power. A failure to do so, these three categories, a fine not exceeding 5,000 ringgit or a jail term not exceeding 2 years if they are charged in court for failure to adhere to this. Now, yesterday, Raymond, I think, was saying, when you see duty of childcare, why aren't teachers in this category? You see, the word is care. Take care. A doctor, by his oath, Hippocratic oath, he has to take care of his patient, take care of the child patient. A family member, divine right, take care of child. Because you brought the child into the world, as a family, you must take care of the child. Child care provider, you are paying money, consideration to the person to take care of my child. But teachers, they don't take care of your child. They teach your child. But of course, anything happens to a child, of course, they call you, please come to the school, take the child to the hospital, or what you call, inform the counselor or help the child. But they are not legally bound to care for the child, not legally. I'm saying legally, ethically, morally, of course they do it. So anything, they inform the parents. So teachers are not in this category because they are not care, they are teaching. But of course, they have their SOPs. I'm sure they have their SOPs, how to handle this type of situation. So rest of us, we may. See, the law says may. I'm not sure why. So for physical injury, if you don't give, you won't be prosecuted by law. Because you may give, up to you, up to your own conscience. But now, after this rollout of this child protection manual, we say you are obligated. We are telling you, if you don't want to report, come and report to the PSO. Inform us. We will take that burden off your shoulder. That is why we are having this rollout in Singapore, in Penang, KL, Johor, Kuching, everywhere. To inform you, don't take the burden by yourself. Inform us. We have all these persons who are experts, psychologists, counselors, psychiatrists, lawyers who know. They will handle it. We will help you to handle it. You just inform us. So we take that burden off you. So remember, 3 categories mandated by law to report, but you as a lay person, you may, if you feel it. But now we are saying you are obligated, ethically and morally. Okay, now the term zero tolerance comes into play. What is the meaning of zero tolerance? So we haven't reached that stage yet, but just to go back, in Europe, in Sweden, there's one case happened in 2014, where a Malaysian couple working in the attaché, our Swedish attaché, they handle the children according to our customs. You know, we have a rotan, you never study, we hit the child, because normal, that's our custom, we rotan, hit newspaper or slap a bit, lightly slap. So they were teaching the child at home. So usually they use a rotan to hit this boy, this boy. So he went to school. The teacher saw this mark, a substantial mark, is in our physicals. Inform the counselor. There they have zero tolerance. You cannot touch a child. Arrested. Just imagine, parents arrested. She was 13 months jail, 6 months jail. See, zero tolerance. You don't touch. So of course, I feel I don't agree, because you see, you put the parents in jail. See how he feels. What is the child's trauma? Worse, right? I don't understand their way of doing it. I couldn't understand that. Zero tolerance must have a limit. You have to give and take. So that is the Swedish experience of zero tolerance. So in Malaysia also in 2018, same thing happened. Teachers, to discipline the child, they rotan the child. Somebody took a video, saw it, the parents saw it, made a police report, and the teachers were arrested. But of course, in Malaysia, like I said, we understand. If the teachers come and tell, I want to take care of your child, I'm trying to teach your child, discipline, very naughty boy, we'll understand. We say, okay, then it's okay. We accept the apologies, we accept this as part and parcel of growing up. So after that, I didn't see any news report of the teachers being charged. Maybe just they call to the balai, explain. So our zero tolerance, I feel much better. So again, a study was done recently, June 2020, and these studies encompass all types of countries, not only the European countries. It happened, they made a study in South America, Asia, Europe, Australasia, North America. So it had a general consensus that physical punishment does not improve child's behavior, instead makes it worse. So it's general consensus lately. So because early on, 2, 3, 4 sections ago, a person asked this question. When I was young, my parents disciplined me with rotan. But see now, I'm okay. I'm disciplined. My life is successful. I never look back. So he said that physical punishment is good for him. So of course, maybe it's good for him. It's a case by case. But on the general consensus, physical punishment is not acceptable. So that is proven by this study by the United Nations. See, most considered support. It increase aggression, increase antisocial behavior, increase disruptive behavior in school. So we follow this study done by this United Nations body. Again, last 2 weeks ago, in March, Ustaz was jailed because using the rotan again. So it hasn't come It hasn't come down. People still use the rotan as our culture, but you use it cannot be excessive because this one, the child 2 days hospitalized. So that means quite excessive. So the court takes the best interest of child. So what do you call? Penalty of jail. So you have to be understanding that cannot physically abuse the child. Okay, what is emotional injury? This is a bit difficult for us because again, substantial and observable impairment, among others, anxiety, depression, withdrawal. That's all we can see, but we don't take. We see a child anxiety, but we say, oh, it's okay, temporary. So it's a bit difficult for us layperson to understand. Maybe we need psychologists or counselors to understand what's happening. So we report. You come to us, report. We have this team of counselors, psychologists. I'm sure everywhere in Kuching or Kota Kinabalu, Penang, all have this team. Their professional standard office have this team of persons who will help, who can identify, who can help to, I know, yes, this child is suffering from emotional injury. Because suddenly withdrawal, suddenly aggression, delayed development. So this emotional injury is a bit difficult to decipher, but now with our PSOs in place, we have the professionals, with a person who know how to handle it. So just come to us, inform us, this child, last time very playful, very happy, laughing, now withdrawn. So let us look into it. So same thing, 3 categories that must report: the medical officer, family member, childcare provider. We all may, again, may. So emotional injury, you may. So these are certain they did a study. Persons suffering from emotional injury, this is what they feel now. Because they keep quiet. I was scared no one would believe me. Don't want to say. She's suffering. I don't want to say anything. I didn't feel I was in control of my life. I felt guilty that the bullies had chosen me. So withdrawal. There were times where I had nowhere to go. Anxiety. It was hard to pretend everything was okay. They look okay, but inside they are turmoil. I was often by myself and felt so lonely. So this is the emotional injury suffered by children, which we have to identify and help them. Just one case of emotional injury happened in Libong Taba. You remember there was a child in school. That time the iPhone just came out. So the teacher said this child, told the child that you stole my handphone. She believed the child stole the handphone, so called the child to the staff room, interrogated her with other teachers. She believed, but the child was adamant, no, I didn't steal. Okay, after that, didn't allow the child to go back, but the teacher bought what you call lunch for the child. Lunch. I remember in the newspaper report, she had lunch with Milo ice, but kept the child in school, waited for her husband, another teacher, to come further interview the child. So then they said, we'll bring the child back to the home. So this, emotionally, the child was affected. So brought the child, 14-year-old girl, to the home, saw the parents. So when they came to the home, the child went upstairs, locked the room door. Then they talked to the parents, the discussion, then the 2 teachers left. Husband and wife left. Father went up to the room, locked. Opened the door, in the midst of hanging. So brought to the hospital, but unfortunately didn't make it. So this was the emotional abuse the child happened. So the NGOs asked for a coroner to hold the case. They wanted the coroner to say this child died because the reason was emotional abuse. But the coroner thought otherwise, said it's a misadventure. So there was no what you call verdict of emotional abuse causing death. So it was just misadventure. But we can see there was emotional abuse. Now, sexual abuse. What is sexual? Is any sexual that a child cannot understand or consent to. So there's no issue of consensus, consensual. You can say, oh, agreed. Below 18, offense. Any sexual act, physical, non-physical. Later will come more detail. Okay, in the 2001 Act, this is the only paragraph concerning sexual abuse. You see how little, how So police, when they have any cases, they have to refer to other acts under the Penal Code, under the Child Pornography Act, to make a case lah. So this is the only section. So memang is really not adequate lah. So later 2017, I'll come later, they formulated a specific act to handle all kinds of sexual offences that can be afforded against a child, can be caused against a child. So earlier it was only pornographic, obscene material, photograph recording, sexual approach by any person for that person or anybody's sexual gratification. So now we don't use that, we have a specific act. So same thing in earlier, these three categories, but now in the sexual offences, I'll come later, we are all mandated to inform. Last time is May. Now for sexual abuse, we are all mandated by law to inform the authorities. So now they made it compulsory. Okay, the three categories of abuses, physical, emotional, and sexual. Now, failure to take care of the child, neglect, will cause that three to happen. So now we go on to neglect. Neglect is also an offense. So 31, Section 31, Child Act. Failure to take care of the child, how? Ill treatment, neglect, abandonment, exposure. So lately in the bicycle case, the Mat Lajak, so many people say, hey, the parents should be charged for this section, under this section. They neglect, causing physical, emotional, or to be affected. So the child passed away in children. So they wanted them to be charged under this section. But you must understand why the police, I'm in the police, I know. They are already suffering. When people are suffering, you don't add in more. Like we all outside, we can talk. But we leave it to the police. They know what they are doing. So I won't go further. But this is the section where parents, guardians fail to take care of the child, they can be charged. And is it not exceeding 20,000 fine or 10 years jail? But if because of your neglect to take care of the child, something happened to the child. So this is the what you call offenses. Then even in the Bella case, the guardian, the lady who took care of the home, she was charged under this offense. Failure to take care of the child, causing physical and emotional and sexual, but there are no sexual, physical and emotional injury. This because of failure to take care, there was a case, March 22, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. There was a video. If you saw the video, a car was driving and uniformed girls sticking their head out of the car. That is neglect to take care of a child, because the child can be physically injured if you hit a tree, a signboard. So 31(1)(a), exposing a child under a person's care in a manner likely to cause physical or emotional injury. So they managed to get that parent. So always must take care to make sure that the child is not in any danger. If not, you'll be charged under this section. Especially nowadays on the video, everybody can see in the video. This is another section where failure, you leave a child without reasonable supervision. This is another lesser charge. You leave a child at home alone. Something happened to the child, they come under this. Without making reasonable provision for the supervision and care of the child for a period which is unreasonable. You leave it for 10 minutes, not unreasonable. If 3 hours, 4 hours, anything happens to the child, they can charge under this section. So one question was asked in one of the sessions. The church members, they had a retreat with children. When retreat came back, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, the parents, later 7 o'clock, parents must come and collect the children. Because they reached at 6, parents came. For one child, the parents could only come at 8. So the one of the caregivers, the retreat teachers there, said, because the boy, he was a boy, 17 years old, and man, you stay in church. Because church all is locked up, stay outside the church premises along the main road. Church all closed for the night, Sunday night. He sat at the curb there. The person left, but parents came and took him around 8:10, 8:20. So if anything happened to that boy, The person who left him there possibly can be under this section, under this offense. If the boy was robbed or physically abused or something happened to him, because you left a child, even though 17 years old, he's still a child, without reasonable supervision at night. Everything locked, he's alone. So always think of this section. You must always think he's a child. Is it leaving him alone? Is there reasonable supervision of the child? Again, another case that really happened, same thing, the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law conflict. So one child, third child was not taken care of. So the mother-in-law came to see me and said, can we get custody of child? Go to court, get custody of child. I said, no need. You just have to make a report to the protector. So the mother-in-law came to see me on Wednesday. So I made an appointment with the protector to see him on the following Monday. But on that Friday, the daughter-in-law took that child. The child was around 12 months old for a scheduled clinic checkup at the KKM clinic. See, the doctors, they know. They saw the child, malnutrition, malnourished, physical injury, emotional. They said, oh, this child needs to be warded. Call the ambulance. Mother ikut dalam ambulance. When she reached there, warded, the man in the black coat was waiting. The protector was there already. So I think he must have warned her, if you don't take care of the child, I will take custody of this child and give it to a person, a fit and proper person. Later, the mother-in-law came saying, everything okay now, very good. She's taking care of the child. She knows the consequence of neglecting that child. So protector, once the protector came in the picture, everything handled. Doctor, he knows his task. He knows what to do. Immediately call the protector, hospital, ready, waiting there. So all this what we learn. And then here is another case. There was a video of a person giving a child smoke vape. I mean, it's a very humorous to that person, humorous. But a protector saw this video in his handphone. He went and made a police report. Actually, the parents, they were just playing a joke. Maybe they didn't even ask him to smoke, just playing. But that is already a neglect. So charge in court. But usually when charged in court, they give warning and later they give bound over warning. No jail. Okay, now this case, Richard Huckley case, you remember? So this was the case that opened the eyes of everybody. You see, he was a pedophile in Malaysia who targeted, groomed, and abused up to 200 Malaysian babies. Just imagine. Everybody was shocked. He abused them, took videos, photographs, and put them in the dark web. They love to share. These pedophiles, they love to share, exchange, sell. They get their kick there. See, 200 Malaysian babies. So when the British authorities found out about it, they didn't want to tell the Malaysian authorities. They waited for him to go back. They arrested him. And as Raymond said, he was jailed for life. And also was, unfortunately, in jail, he was murdered by a fellow inmate who was angry at his activity. So because of this pedophile, everybody opened their eyes. Then lately, another pedophile in Malaysia, as I said earlier, 1,000 images. So pedophiles, they are in our society, but they work stealth. So because of the pedophile Richard Huckley, a big amendment came into being. The Child Amendment, 4 main amendments. Child registry was formed, community-based, family-based, and heavier penalties. The new act, they tambah the Child Act. So Child Act not cukup, not enough. They added in more clauses, more effect to it. And then they formed another act solely for sexual offenses against children, act by itself. Now everything came into being. Child pornography. Last time they had to go to the normal pornography act. Now they have child pornography in offenses. Child grooming. Formerly no child grooming offenses. Physical sexual assault. Non-physical. Here formerly is molestation. But now physical, they gave, later I explained, they define it. So many definitions. Then non-physical, even non-physical now. Talking itself can be a form of sexual assault. A person relationship failure to give information. Here, failure to give information is for sexual. So this is the new act, 2017, specifically for sexual offenses against children. As I said, amendment to the child. Now we have our own child sex offenders registry. At that time, it began 3,000. Now it's around 5,000 names there. So now in our manual, any person coming in to work with children, we have to take the name, go to the registry. If it's in the main city, online straight away they'll give us within 30 minutes. They'll come and tell us, tidak ada dalam system. Okay, go. If ada dalam system, come back in 3 days time. They'll check and give us a detailed explanation. So in the districts, they'll have to refer to the main HQ. So all within 3 days it can happen. So now part and parcel of our manual, all persons working with children will have to, coming in to work with children will have to be checked with the registry. So this child registry we have now, in fact. So, but in Europe, in England, is much more one step ahead. The child registry will inform that this person cannot be seen, cannot stay within the 200 meters from a school. They got so many other instructions. So they are more advanced. Later, maybe we may follow that draft and entertain into our act. So this is the Sexual Offences Against Children Act, which I now detail you what are the offences inside. So as I said, child pornography, because why is child porn so important? Because this is how we catch the pedophiles. That goes specifically for children. So everything is included. If you have any form of child pornography, you are committing an offense. See, exchanging, print, sell, distribute. I go for this to exhibit. So usually on the phone, we show people exhibit and we transmit, send. This is all what you call offenses. So child pornography, the police suddenly in the roadblock, they check child pornography, they can charge you. So what is the offenses? 15 years and big. As I said, they know this is related to pedophile. So they'll throw the book at you. They'll say, see, makes available in any manner, collects, seeks, participate. So everything is covered in child pornography. So like I said, if anybody comes and tell me, oh, this staff, I saw him looking at child pornography, sack. There's zero tolerance. Again, this is for the latest of your handphone now. Accesses as in possession, and you keep it. Why I put this section 10? This in the law itself. You see, when you receive a child pornography video in your internet, everything is recorded. You cannot say nobody knows. When you receive, when you open, when you download it, when you transmit, it's all in the servers. You delete yours, the police can get the other server, second server. If all the servers cannot find, they'll go to Interpol, get the server in the US. Forensic investigation, if we really want to. So what the law says, they said email, but same with the phone. You receive video, child pornography video, 10:10. You see, beginning, you know it's child pornography. You must delete it straight away. That is the law. If you don't delete, you watch it. Receive email, unknown sender, entitled view content. Or you receive that email, you save it. You are guilty of an offense. 5 years, 10,000. So how strict they are, child pornography. So usually this child pornography, these pedophiles, Australia is very strict, and they know. I told you they keep tabs. So when these young people, they go to Cambodia, single man going to Cambodia, when he comes back, either someone that informed or they got information, they said, can you step aside, sir? We'll check your laptop. Because I told you, pedophiles, they love to keep child pornography. They are excitement to see, to watch. They won't delete, they'll keep it. So they will check the handphone, check laptop, and they found it, charge in court, or if it's non-Australian, deported. Charged, then deported. So child pornography is a very serious offense. In Malaysia, again, he did 3. He took images of the child, gambar Google, he communicated with the child, grooming, and he had pornography. So 3 years, they gave 3 years, this latest case. Okay, now, as I said earlier, Bukit Aman has now a unit to watch, to keep tabs on who is downloading child pornography, who is transmitting child pornography, who is selling. They have this unit, internet unit, I call it. They had it training from the Hague. Hague is very well developed. So they had this training, and now Bukit Aman has. So they know who is watching. Of course, thousands are watching. So they cannot go and arrest all. So they see if you watch 5 minutes watching, okay, what you do next? It's all written. It's in the screen there. Upload, sending, transmit, download, transmit. Then they know this fella is connected to some syndicate, selling or exchanging. Then they'll come for you. So you just watch this, what do you call, video for a while.
Malaysia has the highest number of people uploading and downloading photographs and footage of child pornography in Southeast Asia. Authorities reveal that at any one time, close to 20,000 IP addresses in Malaysia are actively uploading and downloading this illicit content. Many are now under police radar and are being picked up.
A lot of public still don't know. They download an imposition. Cannot, it's an offense. The Netherlands police saying that, we, Malaysia, is the top among Southeast Asia country that upload and download.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, because this is factual, because they have got the tool to monitor. So after that only we have the tool. Now I have my officers that monitor, especially child porn. We have a software solely for law enforcement that we can filtering.
So especially on
child porn. Yes, because this program they will pick up this child porn, and then out of they pick up because some of they're very sensitive. They are filtering about 7 websites that are peer-to-peer sharing that people are frequenting that website like Nintendo, and all these are few. So these are people that go into the dark web. See? So they share their information there. So from there we will filter, and then we'll see who are more regularly visiting the website. Then we will check. But so many, that we go to rampantly just pick a few, and we send the particulars to MCMC for the details. Then after that, we will see, we call the person for interview. We will call the house and to do the house arrest. So now I have the unit already. Like we can seize that, we can confiscate the handphone, and we can check. And I'm sending my officers to oversee for training also. I got the support from HSI, FBI. They're all supporting.
Okay, so child pornography is under watch by Bukit Aman and the police in general. So as I said, child pornography, pedophiles. So they are taking a very proactive step to prevent it by having these units that monitors. Like I said, whatever you do, you cannot say you did it. It's still somewhere, iCloud or your pictures or videos or somewhere. They forensic investigation can retrieve it. Okay, now the next important category that we have to learn, understand, get knowledge of is child grooming. This is a very important category because formerly there was no offense where you communicate with a child. Your aim is to get the child sexual gratification for your sexual gratification. So there's a communication done. So now with the handphone, so easy. The communication so easy. Formerly, a phone is not recorded. You phone the child, talk to the phone, so nobody knows. They know you phone, what time you phone. But now everything is recorded because you send by WhatsApp messages or WeChat messages. So child grooming, what is the definition? You communicate with a child, you sexually, must be sexually. Child, encourage the child to sexually communicate or encourage the child, and you imprisonment for 3 years. If there's made a report and the police check your communication, if you say you're talking to a 13-year-old or 14-year-old child, girl, boy, man, girl, study hard or make sure you have a good life, that's okay. But you say, hey, but your body, and then it slowly develops. They can see the grooming, how you groom the child, then 3 years. See, the communication of any part related to active sexual nature, that any reasonable person, so they cannot define. So, but a reasonable person would know, hey, you are from this check, I can see you are aiming. When are you free? Hey, you look so nice. Hey, can we go for we had one case, they were saying, can we go for a chill? They have chill together. So that, see, we can see elderly person asking a child, can we go out to chill together? So that word, so a reasonable person say, what are you telling a child? Do you want to go out with chill together? A reasonable person would say there is grooming. You are grooming. So child grooming means anything with intention. You haven't touched a child yet. Your intention. So that is the offense. And also, if you have intention, you meet the child. You do after 3 months grooming done. At the end, you meet the child. Haven't touched the child. Very serious. 10 years liable to whipping. Haven't touched. You groom. You're going to. Parents found out. You met the child at the mall. Made a report. Check. Yes. You groom the child. You met the child. They charge you under Section 13. Meeting, foreign child grooming, 10 years. Maximum. So all this child grooming, formerly we had no clause, no section under child grooming. Now we have. So the police will take action. So one action after that Sexual Offences Against Children Act was enacted. Next year, one parent made a report. See, at least the effect is there. So that was, I put it there because after that, few more cases, but that to show the effect. Once the law came into being, people know about it, they made a report. The father of one of alleged girls targeted by alleged pedophiles is glad. Subject is now in custody. As a man about 1 a.m. First sexual grooming case in Malaysia. So who? The Kembara kitchen founder. He's the first person who when they complained to him, he's the one who informed the police. So some of the girls are so traumatized, they do not care, register their phone line. So traumatized because he keep asking, keep grooming them. Some people who knew him believe that since nothing physical. So earlier, many people thought only cakap saja, it's only verbal, no offense. Now we tell person, verbal grooming is an offense. Haven't touched the girl is an offense. Grooming. So grooming is very important because we are able to nip in the bud any possible sexual assault. So actually, we are helping the person. If you come across grooming and we tell him, hey, you are, we want to help him without making a report, you better stop it. You get in trouble. Actually, we are helping him now. Because once he go further, there will be sexual assault. And what is sexual assault? After grooming, when you have activity with the child, can be two. Physical sexual assault, this we know it's going, there's touch, but it all must be for sexual purposes. Touches any part of the body of the child, make the child touch, do anything is all below rape. Rape is rape. But below rape is called physical sexual assault, and very serious, 20 years, maximum 20 years. So here, this part, there's always the question is, you mean I cannot hug a child? The common question, I cannot hug a child? You can, as long as it's not for sexual. So when you hug a child, everybody will know, you hug, oh, happy hug. But when you hug, maybe you go to the neck, or too long, the child is struggling to leave, then we know there's something wrong. There's something maybe sexual. So that's why you come and tell us, we will do the inquiries to find out, is this sexual in nature? The main person is sexual in nature. They haven't defined sexual because it's very subjective. One person does this, he gets thrilled. Another person does this, he gets thrilled. So it's very subjective. So the law hasn't defined what is sexual in nature. It's what a reasonable man can understand. Then the court, of course, will see the reasonableness of that act. Now, another important section is non-physical sexual. So this is not touching a child, but it's still sexual assault. How? Utters any word or make any sound or gesture, explain any object. If I look at the person, I say, hey, I'm going to rape you, or your body, any word makes any gesture that has a sexual purpose is an offense. Or makes a child excrete the child's body, ask the child to remove this, that. You haven't touched a child, non-physical, but you cause a child to do something which is sexual in nature. Or you repeatedly, this is stalking. For adults above matured person, there's no offense of stalking yet. The Sexual Harassment Act hasn't come in. But for children, there is. So he constantly follows, contacts the child. There's an offense under Section 15. Non-physical, they call it sexual assault. So offense, 10 years again, very serious. So now you know child pornography, grooming, physical sexual assault, non-physical sexual assault, and all, you cannot bring your defense of consensual. She agreed. I mean, said yes, no. It's all, don't bring in the word consensual. It is an offense. Again, this lately happened. School went by molesting her 11-year daughter. See, Section 14A. Began when the driver first complimented the girl as beautiful and touched her cheek. So that is non-physical. Touching a cheek is physical sexual assault. Because we know there's a sexual purpose. You're beautiful, you're very, you're this, you're that. The next day, the driver had persuaded her daughter to sit next to him instead of went and praised her as special. Grooming. After that, driver rubbed my daughter's hand twice, touch, move closer, rub her right leg. Physical sexual assault. 10 years, I mean the maximum. Of course, we see how if we say remorse, everything, we leave it to the court. So, an offense is non-physical sexual assault, non-physical sexual assault. This is the part where I say we are all mandated to inform Tower. Earlier in the Child Act, they say you may, it's up to you. Physical, you may. Emotional, you may. But now sexual offenses under this act, you have to, you must. What they say, they just give the penalty. Any person who fails to give information of the commission, if you know the commission, it happened, or the intention of any person, you know a person intending to do it, any sexual act, physical, non-physical act against a child, must report to the nearest police station. So this one is not the protector, you must report to the nearest police station. And of course, they don't give a jail term. They just say If you don't do it, you are liable to 5,000 fine. So far, nobody has been charged. I've been watching. So now this one is very important to inform you. They never say go and make a police report. Many people get they get a misunderstanding of this section. They say, oh, I have to go make a report. When you go to the balai, the inquiry will say, cik nak buat report? Said, bukan, I tak mau buat report. I cuma nak bagi maklumat. And they say, maklumat berkenaan apa? Maklumat berkenaan deran atau sexual abuse kepada anak-anak. Oh, nak bagi maklumat. Then they say, okay, they'll call. Who is the officer to call? D11. D11 is sexual crimes against children. That officer is in charge. So they say, okay, cik pergi ke tingkat 2, meet this person. He is in charge of investigation under D11. Your duty is just to give information. When you go there, you see him, he write his diary, oh, pada sekian-sekian, cik ini datang bagi maklumat, oh, sekian-sekian. Okay, so now you become the informer. But the information hasn't been proven yet. The police will then go. They will have a look. If confirmed, they are the ones making the report, first information report. Like I said earlier, so once they make the report, investigation starts. When goes to court, he will take sumpah, pada sekian-sekian hari saya terima maklumat daripada orang dan berdasarkan kepada maklumat, based on that information, I went and raided. That maklumat, the defense counsel want to ask, who gave you maklumat? Counsel, next question. So you give information. If you don't want to go to the balai, 15999. You don't want to call 1599, come to your PSO. Whoever is in the diocese PSO, inform them. Your duty just to give the maklumat, give the information on any sexual cases, sexual information, sexual concerns that you have on a child. So as I said, so now we look at the whole picture. Sexual offences must no time. I think another in the Child Act they say immediately. Here no time limit. So there's one case. The priest came and told me this thing happening. So I told the priest, my father, give me 3 days because I need to check this, check that. Then a higher up person, hey, why no report? Why no report is done? I thought the PSO said must do a report, must inform. No time report. We can take time to ascertain whether the information is correct. We don't want to cause something alarm, something that is wrong, or maybe is a misrepresentation. So no time frame is given. But here, immediately, the law says immediately. Physical, emotional, sexual, by these 3 categories of person. But for us, no time frame. So of course we cannot take 2 months, 3 months. We have to be how long we take, we have to be answerable. So that one, because why I wanted a psychologist to counsel the victim first, see how, whether true, what happened. So it took 3 days. At the end, of course, a report done. So it's not immediately, as long as I can explain. But the information given, then the case carried on. So this is the main issues here. What overall, so child cannot be saying yes, no consent, no definition of sexual purposes. So let's say a 20-year-old man with a 17-year-old girl, he cannot say we are lovers. In England, they have this defense, Romeo Juliet defense, sweetheart defense. In US also, they say, oh, this is my girlfriend. Even though she's a child, but they allow. But Malaysia, no such defense. But the court will take cognizance. They won't say, oh, that jail. No, they give warning. They got their list of how they can handle it. Bound over. Or even the AG chambers will say, oh, we won't charge. Such guys say, okay, we know this is memang love. They didn't know. They won't charge. So there are many ways. And you cannot say a mistaken identity. Oh, I didn't know the person looks so matured. Child cannot, below 10 years cannot commit. So child and child 10 years below, there's no offense. So if both minors are, let's say 17 and 17, both committing sexual offenses, we leave it to the AG and court to decide. Usually they won't. They will give warning. This is the safe house in KL, where any child report, we bring a child to the police station to make a report on sexual abuse, they bring to this place. They tell you go to this place because they don't want the child to be traumatized at the balai. So this is like a nursery. They have a nursery. Then the counselor will come talk to her. No policeman will interview the child. A trained counselor will interview the child. And after that, the child will be, this counselor will handle the child. Anything, the police won't call the house, the parents. They will call the counselor. The counselor will arrange, case ini jalan, okay, bila? 24, okay. The counselor then will call the parents, talk to the parents, the case is on, okay, I'll help you to bring the child, bring you. The police won't interact, because police, people are very scared of police. So now they have this SOP, the counselors will handle it. So the child, they'll give a counselor to each child victim, a counselor in charge. So anything, lawyer, anything you talk about the child, through the counselor. This is the latest. So making police report, as Raymond said, very important, date, time, place. That one you leave it to us. We know how to handle. We are trained. Just come and tell us, we help you. This is about information, confidentiality. Information governance is the key word here. How you govern the information. Confidentially, everybody can keep in confidence. In confidence, yeah. I tell them, hey, please keep in confidence. Okay. That's what I'm going to say. You please keep in confidence. And then everybody knows. But information governance is, you ask yourself, do you need to know this information? Do you need to know it? Example, a parishioner, two parishioners. So one parishioner suspect this person. Then you say, okay, do I need to tell the parish priest? To me, no need. Why are you, then the parish priest will say, oh, this one, his mind will, both are parishioners. So why are you, I will say the word politic. You come and inform us. We are the ones who will handle it. Don't need to tell anybody else. That's how you govern information governance. In a special branch, they have a big word, need to know basis. Who needs to know? He will be know. If he doesn't need to know, no need to inform. Need to know basis. They call it information governance. It's not, don't talk about confidentiality. Confidentiality is everybody will know at the end. Then one more term we have to know is historical offenses. These are where the child was abused when young, but 20 years later, when 30, 40, they feel angry, the trauma comes back to them, they feel they need to inform person, then they inform. So these offenses happened historically, many years ago. So as you know, the swimming coach, Cindy Ong, she said when she was 15, the coach, the coach did two things to her. Sexual harassment, that is words. I mean, she harasses sexually, and assault. When she said assault, I mean, she touched her, but she never explained how. Then when it's 15. So now she's 25 years later, she's coming out. So if she makes a report, the chances of a conviction is very slim, because it's her word, his word, I mean the coach word. So of course she doesn't want to make a report. She just wants to give awareness. She came out to give awareness because as I said, the Sexual Harassment Act is still in the parliament. So she wanted them to make sure it's passed. This Sexual Harassment Act hasn't been passed yet. Bill is now in parliament. So once the sexual harassment, any kind of harassment, consider saying sexual jokes, that will be an offense. So once it comes out, I'll tambah in my series lecture, what is the offense now? So far, none. As you can see, this girl, she says she was sexually harassed by that rape joke, but because there's no law to define it, to find a conviction against the teacher, so it didn't go far. We just read a bit. So she said that joke to her was sexual harassment. What did the teacher say? Nanti korang nak rogo, jangan rogo yang bawah 18. Korang rogo yang atas 18. So she, to her, hey, you're asking them to rogo. You're harassing to me. I feel I'm harassed now by telling this joke. Kalau boys kena rape, it doesn't get reported because the boys apparently sedap. So to her, she was felt very harassed to her. So she made the police report. But before making police report, as I said, these things happen even to us. We try to not cover up. We try to solve it ourselves. Don't worry, because that's what the counselor said. Told her, you are being too sensitive. I suggest you take therapy session. So the victim becomes they're not helping her. They're telling her, you are the cause, you must take action. But I don't blame the teacher because this is what is a natural tendency, because the teacher is their friend, is the adult. Sure, you want to protect him. You want not outwardly, but in your mind, psychologically, you want to protect that person. So she was telling this girl, you don't worry, you need cycle, you're too sensitive, just a joke. So she was giving all kinds of words, so she was more angry. Then even the higher ups, even the IGP himself, he said, it's a joke. So of course, Patu hit him up, say, polish up your knowledge on rape culture, psychology abuse, mental health. So number one man in the force saying it's a joke. Then even the teachers union, he also said, hey, what's the proof? Well, beginning he was very agitated. Why is the proof? Why are you saying this? But later he apologized, jumping the gun, insensitive. So as I said, we always never take the best interest of the child. It's always the best interest of the organization, best interest of the fellow adult, fellow friend. So when they investigated, as I said, what are the offenses the police will look at? And that joke, that's how you read the joke. Was it sexual in nature? Non-physical sexual assault. Words. Did you read that? If you that's not remember, Rogo, was it sexual in nature, the statement? To me, as an ex-police, I said, no, it's a joke. Okay. So was there sexual harassment? That means he's bringing down the woman in front of all the boys, making rape, harassment. But at the moment, there's no law against that. So if it's true, disciplinary action. But if it's just a plain joke, go back to duties. That means it's just a joke. So what did the police say? It's just a joke. No action, no further action. So now, of course, the teacher angry, suing the girl. Defamation. You brought all this to me. I just said a joke, and you say I've sexually, non-physically assaulted you first. Then you say I'm sexually harassment against you, suing her. So she's counter suing. I don't know what grounds are, but lawyer said counter sue for 5 million. So as I said, sexual harassment bill hasn't been law. It's still in parliament. It's a bill now, not an act yet. So it's supposed to be passed in 2021 December. But Rina Harun said they want to defer. So maybe because of stakeholders complain that it's not strong enough. So maybe in this year. So sexual definition, I'm just saying a Google search, but the law will define it more specifically. Sexual harassment is an unwelcome behavior that is offensive, humiliating, or intimidating. So you feel it's offensive, humiliating, or intimidating the person at the receiving end, then you know it's a harassment. And you use it when there's a sexual content, sexual harassment. Another bill that should be being is the anti-bullying act. It's still in the beginning stage. It hasn't become a bill yet, but the NGOs are pushing for it because many cases of bullying happening now. So people are affected, especially in social media bullying, and some they go to the extreme. So what you call the act at the present is inadequate because bullying is not there. It's not there. So hopefully this will come into being in the near future. Again, this finally when I said you can make a report, you can go to the protector or even Balai or call the phone, come to us. But if you go to the hospital, they also have the SOPs are well in place. The child will be the center of the case. People will come to the child. The doctor, the pediatrician, the psychiatrist, the nurse, the X-ray, they will take the child. the child just has to go to that special one-stop center, is like a nursery, and stay there to prevent traumatization of the girl, of the child. So all well placed. They call it a one-stop crisis center ward. Then all see the scan team will review, call relevant specialties to come and treat her. Non-critical, then they have their table what to do. So everything is for the best interest of the child. This one is scan is suspected child abuse and neglect cases. So when you go to the counter, you say you need case SCAN, scan. They know what to do. Case Daran, case sexual, case anak. The counter registration there will know what to do. So as I said, the objective, this is the summary. You know what's physical injury, emotional, sexual abuse. So everybody mandated by law to inform police, neglect, and this is the basis of this discourse. Okay, that is the end, and now I'll open up for questions. I see in the chat box. Any questions? I know because so many. In the last session there was no question because I understand. I said this just to give an awareness of the law. Everything we will do. If you have any problems, come to the PSO. It's our duty. We will help you. We don't expect you to handle it, we'll take the burden from you because it's quite immense knowledge to receive in 2 hours. Too many. So just see any question?
Brother, you were talking about the police making the arrest for sexual cases. Where do the citizens arrest stand?
You want to make a citizen arrest?
What happens if somebody wants to make a citizen's arrest?
What offense?
Sexual offense. Is it not valid? Is it?
No. That's why you must know the what type of offense. No. Okay, let's say a rape, right? Rape. You saw a rape in the bushes, right? Yes, you can do. If you feel you are strong enough, you arrest him and immediately call the police and hold him there. But make sure you don't assault him. Don't just your arrest to arrest. Don't assault.
I mean, holding. They cannot.
Yeah, hold him. Of course, you're not alone, if you are in a group. But the problem is many of them they arrest, they hit. At the end, if anything happens to him, another report. Let's say he dies, because you have no right to kill a person.
Yeah, no right to harm the person.
So that's why you're very careful of making a citizen arrest. But of course, you see in a bush something happen. I mean, if you feel you can handle it, catch him and hold him.
Okay.
They allow citizen arrest for the time until the police arrive. That is your right, citizen arrest. Because you see at that time it's danger. I want to save that person. If you can do it, if you're a group, better. So as long as you do the arrest only.
Thanks.
Sure. But if it's a simple case, traffic offense, you don't have a right to do a citizen arrest. Traffic offense.
Yeah.
You must see the offense some more. It's whether it's a capital, serious. If it's a small offense, you must just call the police. Inform the police or take a gamba and send them. So citizen arrest have to be within the rights. Let me stop this. Then I saw in the chat group asking about the Miri case. No, the Miri case, the police arrested one. Did a raid on a gambling syndicate. Arrested a few of them. One was a 16-year-old girl. See, the police also didn't know a child. You cannot put in the balai lockup. You must call the protector. He arrange who to take care of child, where to put the child, proper place. They put in the balai lockup, one special room for her. So in that lockup, there are many convicts. They come and go, drug addicts. So they know where the keys are. So unfortunately, at night, one of them raped the girl. So after that, of course, the balai person, they were sacked, disciplinary action taken against them. But I don't know the charge. I after that lost track of what happened to the case now. So very unbecoming. 20 years after the act, and still the policeman don't know that you cannot keep a child in an adult lockup. That's what the Suhakam came up with, that statement. So we have to keep abreast of the law that is happening now. Any case study you happen that you feel or this thing, what to do, what? Because like I said, anything you can, there's so many ways to report, but to church, you come to us, come to your respective diocese committees, PSOs, because they all trained staff there, trained personnel there. Okay, what else? So as I said, the church around the world, we are all on, because the Pope has, through the Pontifical Commission for Minors, given us guidelines, continuous. The latest we had last year was a Vedimicum, again telling us how to do more specific. So it's very proactive, the policy. Okay, since none, I'll see whether is Father Greg around. No, okay. So Reverend Fathers, dear religious sisters and brothers and sisters in Christ, thank you for this for attending this session. If anything, you can contact us. We came to Kuching once, we went to Kota Kinabalu in KL and Penang. So we are all sharing our experience to what you call help each other. Anything you can share with us. So with that, I like to say good night and God bless you. Take care. Thank you.
Okay, good night, brother.
Good night, brother. Thank you.
Thanks.
Good night, everybody. Thanks.
Thank
Nice.
you. Thank you.
Take care. Take care.